Hey folks, welcome to the I'm supposed to be cooking supper, but instead I'm doing this edition of the Mediocre Cover Band Guitar Guy. So I got a little bit of a PSA today. Once again, social media has read something this morning before I went to work that was, stupid chair, kind of concerning to me. And it was somebody who had booked a band for their wedding, gave the band a deposit. Can't get in touch with the band anymore. They're getting married fairly soon, and apparently just found out that this person has taken deposits from other people and just hasn't shown up on the day of the wedding. Man, here's a term for you that I would use for that, and it is called shitbaggery. Because that's what you are, as a shitbag, if you're doing stuff like that. Like, take all the musical part of it out of here, and the other things I'm about to say about it. A person's wedding, especially a person like your first wedding, should at least be a little bit memorable and be happy. Okay? Normally you're only supposed to do it once. Guess I fucked that up. But anyway, it's not supposed to be stressful for the people that are getting married on the day. Well, it is stressful, but that's the whole point. When you're a vendor, when you're a musician, when you're giving your service to somebody on that day, big part of your job besides providing the service that you're supposed to give, whether it's a photographer, videographer, a DJ, a band, makeup, caterer, or the decorators, all that is supposed to take that part of the stress out of a wedding. Do you want to know what the worst part of your wedding is? Your family, okay? Because your mom, on both sides of the family, the moms or whatever, they want this person, oh, remember, you knew this person 20 years ago, like, can you invite them, blah, blah, blah. They don't need this shit from you, okay? So, our job when we go in to do that is to make sure that whenever that person needs to talk to you about something, you're available. Because they might want to request a special song. They might say, hey, can you do this song while the bride's dancing with the father? Because it means a lot to them or whatever. You need to keep lines of communication open for one thing. And you need to be there for that person to take that weight and that part off their shoulders. And if you're not doing it, then you're not professional. And you're just not going to get the jobs. Because with social media right now, the biggest thing that happens is people go right to that right away and they give reviews, or in this case, mention names, which I'm not going to do, of people that fuck them over. And dude, this is what you did. Now, you're also making it bad for the rest of us. It's hard enough in this day and age to get a band booked into a wedding this last couple of years. COVID really, really did a number on everything, for one thing, in that regard. We lost a lot of work. And with the cost of everything right now, people are cutting back on a lot of stuff. There are a lot of people using their own playlists from their phone. And you know what? If you can do that, that's fine. I'm not going to argue and say, well, you should have this, you should have that. I just think, as I said before in a video, I saw a guy actually hijack, the piece of equipment they were streaming to a speaker with. But let's get back to where we're going here. You're trying to take that stress off of that part of the wedding for those people, especially the bride, okay? Because she's probably the one who fucking hired you. And now they're out of sorts because they're getting married in a couple of days and you're a no-show. And you've apparently pulled this shit before. Now, without mentioning this person's name, we've all heard about this person before. Borrowing guitars from 14-year-old girls and then selling them right after a gig. Not paying musicians. We used to play a bar notoriously owned by an asshole. I would say cunt, but that's not a good word. In another town. There was a young guy who used to work in the convenience store next to the bar who would come over and see the bands play. And he told us that he did a show that was highly publicized. It was on the MTV News, Backstage Pass. At the LSPU Hall, and none of the musicians saw a payday. So dude, you gotta stop with this shit, okay? Because now not only have you made it bad for yourself, have you made it bad for your bandmates, you've made it bad for us. Because now people are saying it's just not fucking worth it hiring DJs and bands that aren't going to show up, because I'm seeing a lot of it on the pages. People are looking for DJs all the time because somebody canceled last minute. Looking for photographers last minute. Videographers can't. We had them booked. They canceled a couple days before. This is not for fun. You're doing this in a professional capacity. Then act like a professional and honor your commitments. The problem is that people don't have consequences for shit anymore. And it's like, well, I don't really want to do that today. Well, you know what? You agreed to do it, and people are counting on you. So if you're a band or a vendor and you book something and you take a deposit and you're not going to show up, give the fucking deposit back. For Jesus' sake. You're ruining somebody's day. Now, they've got to come up with whatever that deposit was. They might have to pay another deposit on top of that, which could be, if it's a $500 deposit, you're out $1,000. Well, you're out to $500, but now you've spent $1,000 on a band, and then you're worrying, are they going to show up? So this person needs to give this shit up. It's 10 years of hearing about this person stealing equipment, stealing microphones from bars, stealing cables, stealing guitars, not paying musicians. I know people have problems, and you know, it's sad. I know people get hooked up in addictions and things like that. But there comes a point where you have to say to yourself, I got to step back from this stuff and take care of yourself. And for anybody who's had these issues, you know what, and you're trying to help yourself, God love you. You deserve all the good things that happen in your life and more. Because you're trying to make those changes. But if you're going to do this stuff, man, don't drag other people down with it.